Yaoundé and Bangui exchanged niceties at the Unity Palace as an envoy of President Faustin Archange Touadéra extends the gratitude of the people of the Central African Republic to President Paul Biya for Cameroon's support in last March's presidential elections in that country. Cameroon marks the 49th anniversary of the advent of the unity state in Cameroon, otherwise known as the peaceful revolution, tomorrow, with a presidential order prescribing the organization of popular festivities across the country owing to COVID-19 exigencies. Illicit arms go on flames in Buea as Prime Minister Joseph John Gute presides over a massive arms destruction ceremony to pacify the restive region. Those are our lead stories. Hello and thanks for joining us. I am Ben Menopufong and this is the 7:30 News.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
You're welcome once again. President Paul Biya has been congratulated on his assistance towards the successful conduct of elections in the Central African Republic. This commendation came from the outgoing ambassador of the Central African Republic to Cameroon, Betty Maras, during an audience granted him by the head of state at the Unity Palace. Unity Palace correspondent Ashu Nyenti reports on the audience.
If the Central African Republic successfully organized recent elections, it is also because of the assistance President Paul Biya gave to that country. That is why at the end of his 7-year stay in Cameroon, the country's ambassador, extraordinary and plenipotentiary, Marshal Betty Maras, is here to thank and say farewell to the head of state.
Son Excellence Marshal Betty Maras, ambassadeur de la République centrafricaine.
Monsieur l'ambassadeur.
The outgoing ambassador also thanks the president for gratifying him with much wisdom throughout his stay in Cameroon, and then explains the nature of the intertwined economic and security relations between Bangui and Yaoundé. We are part of the same chain. If things get bad in the Central African Republic, Cameroon will also be affected, and vice versa. Several Cameroonians do business in that country, even as Cameroon has always stood by the Central African Republic in the most turbulent periods of its history. Cameroon has a strategic contingent in the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Bangui, MINUSCA. Only recently, about 500,000 Central African refugees found refuge in Cameroon. It is therefore a fulfilled ambassador, Betty Maras, who leaves Cameroon with a commitment to be Cameroon's ambassador wherever he goes.
And now on to a reading of this presidential decree appointing a member of the board of directors of the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC. The President of the Republic hereby decrees as follows. Article 1. Mr. Hope Sonabai is, with effect from the date of signature of this decree, appointed member of the Board of Directors of the Cameroon Development Corporation, CDC, as personality designated by the President of the Republic. Article 2. The appointee shall be entitled to the various benefits provided for by the regulations in force. And Article 3. This decree shall be registered, published according to the procedure of urgency, and inserted in the official gazette in English and French. Signed, Paul Biya, President of the Republic. As you were hearing in the headlines, Prime Minister Joseph John Gute has invited the civilian populations in the 10 regions of the country, and especially those in the northwest and southwest regions, to be more vocal in their support for the ongoing peace initiatives in the country. He was speaking in Buea today as he presided over a ceremony to destroy illicit weapons retrieved from unholy hands in the region. Members of government, the diplomatic corps, and representatives of international organizations attended the event, as you tell us. Christian Cheatam.
10 boxes of illicit weapons destroyed, faceless potential victims in Cameroon saved. The weapons were retrieved in the 10 regions of Cameroon during operations carried out by military and security forces, but some were voluntarily surrendered by their holders through special campaigns. The ceremony is part of the UNAU co-sponsored African Amnesty Month 2020, aimed at silencing guns to promote meaningful development in Africa. The diplomatic corps, through the voice of German Ambassador Corinne Afrique, underscored the necessity to check the circulation of arms in order to give the new generation a chance to participate in development. The representative of the African Union said efforts to check the spread of illicit weapons will become continuous within the organization. Prime Minister Joseph Dion Goute, in his keynote address, invited the population of the 10 regions of Cameroon to support peace efforts undertaken by President Paul Biya within their communities.
The President of the Republic has strengthened the regulatory dispositions concerning the weapons, small and light weapons in Cameroon. We don't want to see this circulate because they are the main cause of the lack of peace in our country. And he asked me to come and preside over the ceremony in the presence of generals, in the presence of the diplomatic corps, to ensure that all the populations of Cameroon should denounce people who are keeping unauthorized weapons.
He invited especially communities in the northwest and southwest who are victims of illicit weapons to collaborate more with security forces in checking the illicit circulation.
Here now is an excerpt of the keynote address made by Prime Minister Joseph Dion Goute during today's solemn ceremony, as selected for us by Star Building correspondent Christian Cheatam.
When President Tahejo made the speech declaring that there would be a referendum.
May 6, 1972.
Yes, sir. And also stating that the referendum would be on the 20th May. We celebrated this. We either a country or we not a country. Now the U.S. Constitution says a pluribus unum.
Meaning?
One out of many.
Okay.
Or out of many, one.
One.
That's what a nation should be.
Okay.
There shouldn't be pieces thrown all over the place.
Okay.
Villages, yes. Historically, in our constitutional history, we were moving from the federal state to the unitary state. And we welcome that because former West Cameroon had a lot of difficulty. And a lot of the civil servants were unhappy because they were not paid the same salaries as the federal civil servants. And that when we graduated, we would not have to be arguing whether we work for West Cameroon, for East Cameroon, or the federal government.
We are awfully sorry for that mix-up there, and that instead was the former Prime Minister and the current Chancellor of the National Orders talking to our reporter Ebune on the upcoming celebration of the National Day in Cameroon. But we will be coming back to that package later on in this edition. Just time for us to go back to the southwest region where the Prime Minister Joseph Dion Goute was to say that the presence of a cross-section of opinion leaders of that region of the country and the nation as a whole during the ceremony to destroy illicit weapons provided an opportunity to reiterate the call for an end to the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Kange Williams Wasaloko spoke to some of them and put together their views and reactions in the following report.
The choice of Witingi in Mwea subdivision as venue for the destruction of illicit weapons is not by chance. This site has witnessed sporadic gunshots by armed separatists in recent days. According to the elites of the region, the ceremony is a glimmer of hope.
My heart is full of joy because nothing can happen without peace. Women will feel free to do their activities.
It's only on the peace that even the decentralization process which is going on will have any meaningful impact on the population.
For the pilot of the traditional authorities of the Southwest, the ancestors are at peace with such an act.
The past has been rough, and now we are here to ensure that the future will be a bright one.
The religious leader believes that the event is a sign of peace to come.
It's a sign of hope that the future is bright. We should do everything to, avoid any form of hatred, any form of division amongst us, and continue to see how we can build our nation.
The politicians and the civil society activists, the time to lay down the guns is now.
Very good thing to sensitize people about illegal use of arms and weapons.
The Prime Minister's presence in Buea today was a concrete reflection of the head of state's concern for the security of the citizens of this country.
The silencing the gun is a wonderful initiative. It should be a step in the right direction.
And as the population watch the ammunitions blaze, many are those that keep asking why take up arms for an unjust cause that could be discussed on a round table.
And the ghost town phenomenon in the southwest regional capital, Buea, is gradually easing out, with prospects of Monday becoming a normal day again in a very near future. It is also an indication of the decline in the intensity of violence now evident in Buea and some neighboring towns of the region. Ewane Pole is in Buea, where he has been assessing the situation on the ground and is here with what he saw and heard.
Traditionally, the ghost town day on Monday that secessionist militiants have imposed since the end of 2016 is not being respected as before in the town of Buea. Taxis and pedestrians have taken back possession of the streets. Meanwhile, some markets and shops are seen open.
2-3 years ago, it was not easy, but today the Southwest is coming back to normalcy. Of course, we still have some area where there are disturbances, but in general, the Southwest region is well.
Despite the low turnout of pupils and students in the school campuses on Mondays, classes are, however, effective.
Mondays are not the best as compared to the past for the crisis. But I want to tell you that before now, there were times when we could have no student on campus on a Monday. But now, progressively, they are coming. Out of the 5,000 students, or close to 5,000 students that we expect here, about 1,500 come on Mondays.
Hotels have also begun receiving tourists and musicians coming to animate ceremonies on weekends.
The security here is guaranteed. Let them come and enjoy those facilities.
Buea's residents are no longer the only ones defying the separatist enacted bans, which goes to show that the intensity of violence is on the decline in the southwest region.
Tomorrow is May 20 and Cameroon will be celebrating its National Day, a day which marks the unification of the Anglophone and Francophone Cameroon. 49 years of a unitary state and a memorable day in the life of the nation whose glorious past BrigadeAntiSardinard evokes in this commentary.
1972, the cradle of the National Day on May 20 is full of nostalgia.
1972, I was still a kid. I quite remember when I saw Aijo in Buea. It was like you have seen Jesus, and everybody was happy.
It's the most important day for my country because unity is what cements a nation, the cement that puts everybody together.
The pillars of the National Day is unity, which guarantees other values for a prosperous country.
If you go inside the server of a computer, it's English. And to get international job today is English. But we don't say no, French is a very good thing.
The message of the founding fathers of the Unitary State still reverberates 49 years on.
Unity is what underpins peace. Unity is what makes us stay together peacefully, and peace is what guarantees development. Peace is what guarantees happiness.
The road has not been all smooth, but the focus is clear.
Cameroon has always been one nation, but we were divided by the colonialists, and our founding fathers brought us back together. We should keep the bond they signed in 1972.
Unity is strength. Let our diversity be cornerstones for one strong nation.
In continuation of our running series on music as a hallmark of national unity, we take you to the northern part of Cameroon, where melodies have moved from being ethnic likes to becoming national delights. The trend has been reinforced by artists such as Fada Kautal, whose melodies connect Cameroonians from north to south, east to west. Salisona Tafaha treats us to some of these beats.
A soothing blend depicts a country committed to all cultures. It transcends geographical limits. It's inscribed in the heart of Alexandre Mundi, aka Fata, one of the most celebrated Cameroonian artists and Makossa legend. Not of the Sudano-Sahelian descent, Bikutsi artist Kokowa Jante soaks up the musical rhythm of Cameroonians up north in a musical piece with an unadulterated Fufude accent and a song titled Miidima, meaning I love you. Christophe Filling from the Central region wants to stir that sense of belonging. He connects with beats from Sudano-Sahelian region as a show of national strength. From east to west, north to south, music continues to be a hallmark of Cameroon's unity in diversity.
Salisona Tafaha there with that piece. Ensuring the security of Cameroonians and their property is one of the main missions of the National Police Corps in the East region of the country. From checking trafficking to providing healthcare services and intervening in times of trouble, their role in the daily lives of the population cannot be overemphasized. Tala LT of CRTV East reports on the complexity that now characterizes relations between the civilian populations and the police in the East.
403 de 401, on nous signale un cas de risque au niveau de la gare routière de Bétois. Veuillez déployer naturellement la patrouille sur les lieux et rendez compte.
At the Mobile Intervention Unit number 7 in Bétois, a call on the talkie-walkie sent a team to intervene in a dispute at the motor park.
In normal period, the mobile wing reinforces the other territorial unit to reinforce.
Next door at the National Securities Health Center, the team is rejoicing the birth of a twin. The clinic has about 25 personnel to operate the 9 departments, which include a theater, dentistry department, laboratory, a maternity, and a host of others. Another very important unit of Cameroon's police force in the East is the Regional Regiment for the Highway Articulation. The Rapid Intervention Unit of the police in the East has greatly reduced the rate of insecurity through its multiple operations on the ground. The Regional Delegate for National Security, Commissioner of Police, Byongeri, on a daily basis keeps in touch with the 63 units of the police across the region to coordinate operations and get feedback on their action.
1 year after assuming office as Yaoundé City Mayor, Luc Messia-Tangana says development projects earmarked for the capital city are well on course. Amongst the priorities of the City Council are to fight against urban disorder and ensuring the respect of town planning norms. Kwang Chuan, Marie-Claire Doe of CRTV Center, has an assessment of the first 12 months of the City Mayor.
March 2020, May 2021 makes it a year and 2 months since Luc Messia-Tangana and his deputies took the keys of the Yaoundé City Council. Although all of them knew they are already leaving their footprints, they have designed projects geared towards improving the living conditions of not only the population under their command, but even those visiting the capital city. Development projects like the creation of green gardens, opening of more public toilets, and the management of mental health people in the city. Also in their records, the city council officials have instituted a unique color for commercial township taxis. At some major roundabouts like Etudi, there is a special lane created for taxis, amongst other projects geared towards improving the living conditions of the population. They, however, say even though there are changes in the capital city, much is still to be done.
For the moment, what I can ask them to do is to make Yaoundé more attractive, clean town, make road available. We have also to contribute.
All in all, the city mayor have taken a firm commitment to work in collaboration with municipal authorities and population to give their municipalities and Yaoundé as a whole a facelift it deserves.
And you're watching the 7:30 news on the Cameroon radio television, the CRTV, as we beam live from Yaoundé. The Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education and the United Councils and Cities of Cameroon have partnered to promote youth activities in the country. This follows the signing of an agreement in Yaoundé today by both parties, which seeks to scale up youth participation in local development initiatives. Cynthia Saptala reports on the major pillars of the agreement.
The 3-year partnership agreement signed centered on promoting youth-related activities within council areas.
This is a win-win partnership in favor of young people. At the level of council, we thought that we could reinforce the participation of young peoples, but also is a mentorship program.
During the ceremony in Yaoundé, the first Bureau of Municipal Youth Councillors for the Yaoundé 2 Council were presented with other local authorities encouraged to follow suit and integrate young people in development goals.
It's a wonderful opportunity for the youth to be able to get involved in the developmental issues of their respective localities, most especially the youth in the northwest and the southwest region.
The Municipal Youth Council, launched in February 2021, is government's mechanism for mobilizing young people in a 1-year voluntary process aimed at developing leadership skills needed in the decentralized communities.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
The number of Cameroonians subscribing for the ongoing voluntary vaccination against COVID-19 is on a steady climb, an increase in number which corresponds to the availability of the jabs in vaccination centers across the country. As the demand for the vaccines shoots up, many are wondering what would happen if the vaccines suddenly run short in supply. That is the issue that Baldwin Sama and his guest Dr. Andrea Sinjar are addressing tonight at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center here in Yaoundé. Hello, Baldwin. Welcome on board.
Good evening to you, Ben Menopufong. The government of Cameroon made available thousands of doses of the Sinopharm vaccines and the AstraZeneca vaccines to permit many Cameroonians to have themselves vaccinated. But what are some risks in case we have a shortage? We notice any shortage in terms of the availability of some of these doses in the different regions of the country. Let's discuss with the Deputy Permanent Secretary of the National Immunization Program, Dr. Andrea Sinjar. Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, Baldwin.
What are just some of the risks involved in case of a shortage of some of the doses of the vaccines available in Cameroon?
Yes, thank you. Given that this vaccination will help us protect severe form of the disease and maybe likely prevent the transmission cycle as the case may be, it means that if we are unable to meet up with our vaccination coverage, the risk will still remain. So that is why we need to do everything, not only to make available the vaccine like the government is doing, but equally get vaccinated. Vaccine being available is not equal to vaccination. We need to get vaccinated so that we can get protected as well.
So the Cameroonians watching us, for example, in Furawa or in Bali, this evening can be reassured that there's availability of these vaccines wherever they find themselves to have themselves vaccinated.
Exactly. At this moment, there is a huge stock of vaccines, even at the respective health districts, to be used by the population for vaccination. And the government is putting all its effort alongside international partners to ensure that vaccines are made available for the population.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andreas Njo, for that reassurance the government has done and the government is doing, and the government of Cameroon will still continue doing a lot to ensure that we have availability for the different vaccines to permit many Cameroonians have themselves vaccinated in the different available vaccination centers in the 10 different regions of Cameroon. Back to you, Ben Menopofong.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama, and see you tomorrow. An incubation center to train youths on territorial governance and decentralization has been created in Yaoundé. This is the fruit of collaboration between the Network of Parliamentarians for the Promotion of Private Entrepreneurship and the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. Gerald Nanje Yambe reports that the center will go a long way in enhancing youth involvement in governance and the decentralization process.
From humble beginnings,
the Territorial Intelligence Development Center, situated at the Nkomo neighborhood in the nation's capital, will, among other things, empower young Cameroonians on territorial governance and decentralization.
To accelerate those who have ideas, project and enterprise, so that to create the welfare inside the population.
A joint initiative of the Network of Parliamentarians for the Promotion of Private Entrepreneurship and the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises.
In line of action with what was given to them as instructions, they thought it wise to put into action all what they have heard. So one of the steps is this incubation center, and the goal is really to encourage the youth to forge forward, to stop being lazy, to stop waiting to be civil servants, and to really think out of the box.
25 project leaders selected at a networking days in February this year will be part of the incubation center.
Now on to obituary. The late Deputy Speaker of Cameroon's National Assembly, Emilia Monjowa Lifaka, who died last April 20 in Buea, has received honors from her peers in Parliament. The solemn ceremony in the Parliament Hall was presided over by the Senior Deputy Speaker, Hilarion Etong. It was attended by officials of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, who joined the mourners to hail the accomplished politicians. Esther Kmer has a film of the day's event.
Lifaka, who rose from humble beginnings in Bojongo, Buea to international political gains.
She was the first African woman elected as chairperson to preside over the destiny of CPA. She was an example of female leadership.
Compassionate with an infectious smile, the honorary president of the Female Parliamentary Network was an inspiration.
I discover a dynamic, an experienced, respected and cherished militant of her political party.
Her verve was evident at the Constitutional Laws Committee and beyond.
A professional politician, I call her, because she's done much and she's evolved from one stage to the other.
She made sure that whatever was the interest of the CPDM, she upheld it very, very high.
We will remember her as someone, a real pillar in the building of the foundation of our country.
She is celebrated as an illustrious daughter of Africa who held firm to her convictions.
She is a bridge builder. She is actually the stabilizing force in this Commonwealth Parliamentary Association.
The demise of Honorable Emilia Monjowa Lifaka recalls the brevity of our lives, defined not by its length, but by the depth of it.
Let's talk sports now. Government is not sports yet. We should be talking other developments in the youth. Government is not done yet with the distribution of the Paul Biya HAV laptops to higher institutions of learning in the country. Today, it was the turn of the Françoise Mbango Institute of Sports and Physical Education, where the learning tool was distributed to a cross-section of the students. The event coincided with the open day event of the institute, as we hear in this report with Daniel Ikande.
After months of functioning with 40 students, the Françoise Mbango Institute of Sports and Physical Education opened its doors for the public this Wednesday, May 19. Presiding over the ceremony, also attended by CRTV's Director General Charles Ndongo, Minister of State and Minister of Higher Education, Professor Jacques Famendongo, said the institution is now part of government's effort to improve the welfare of young people. That's why the institute received 45 PBF computers.
I'd like to thank the President of the Republic of Cameroon for that important offer of a computer he gave to our students today.
The center provides physical education and sports management courses.
I think that this institute will provide us coaches, because in order to vulgarize the parasport, we want coaches fund.
Inclusive learning is also a priority now eased with the PBF laptops. Françoise Mbango, a double Olympic gold medalist, is relishing to see her institution take off thoroughly.
And that's where we'll leave it for today. Let's do it all over again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
She told me that.
Morning, bro.
Nah, no, bro. You know, say you be my padi man, no? I give you 2 for price for 1.
Chai, bro.
Yes, cause my woman say make I bring you 1 watermelon.
Add this one on top.
1 does 2 watermelon.
Twins? Why the feel for big money?
My join at times too.
No wait, say make your credit finish before.